Okay, we're going to look at the customer service module. If you recall, I went through a story before where it's 7:30 in the morning, it's Monday morning, we just sent our pickers out, and they're coming back disgruntled. Okay, well, Monday morning is not the time to find out that surprise. So let's take a look in customer service and see what we're doing in customer service. First of all, one of the areas of Pulse that I mentioned before is its emphasis on on-time shipping, meeting the obligations to your customers. So this graph right here, for instance, shows you for this month of June, we have, or I can go back to May here, 72% of my orders went out on time. I only had 3% that didn't go out 1 day late, and then 2 to 5 days late, and so on. So, but this is what we're going to do with that. I have this screen up here called Items Causing Shortages. And what this is doing, this is a very, very unique product. This isn't just unique to Macola. This is unique, we think, in the industry. We've never seen anyone do this. We are applying MRP concepts. We are time phasing customer demand with replenishment. So let's take a look at this very first item, this wheel. We have 3 on hand, and we need 53. And I should mention that what I'm doing is I'm going out over the next 14 days to take a look at this. So in other words, I want 14 days to anticipate where my shortages are so that I can react to those shortages. So I have 3 on hand, and I need 53. So let's take a look at this. What this is saying is I have enough on hand to meet these first 3 orders, and then I'm short. Well, I have a replenishment here. I have a production order that's coming in, but it's coming in on the 26th, and I really need it on the 23rd. So in other words, I have a replenishment, but it's coming in late. Okay, so then what happens is I can meet my next 2 orders, and then I start going short again. So you can see what we're doing here is we're showing you that this production order is coming in too late, and then for down here, there's no hope in sight. So let's take a look at another one of these products. We'll take a look at this wheel down here. What this is showing us is that we can meet the first 2. We have a replenishment coming in. It meets the third order. We start going short, and then we're okay for the rest of the month. So this is something that is first to market. This is something we're taking the Macola data, we're time phasing customer demand based on the due date, and we're matching it up against either production orders or purchase orders. So this has become very, very popular in terms of controlling your shortages. And in our production control module, we'll show you shortly how we're showing you shortages at the component level. This is shortages at the finished goods level. Okay. For those of you who work off of fill rates, we are measuring fill rates. Down here we have the details customer by customer for on-time delivery. We also have an analysis in here of top credit memos by customer as well as by item. Normally what I would do is I would finish this module and I would say, does anybody have any questions? And then we'd talk about it for a minute. So we're going to have to go on to the next module. When we developed the sales and marketing module, our challenge, our charge was to be able to track anything in Macola by anything. So let's talk about what there's 2 anythings in there. The first one means I want to be able to track sales by item, by customer type, product category, sales territory, sales rep, anything that's in Macola. The next by, I want to track anything by anything, means I want to track it by dollars, I want to track it by margin percent, margin dollars. I want to look at month to date versus year to date versus quarter to date versus the same information last year, and we achieve that. One of the things that you're probably wondering maybe at this point is, well, there's no place in Macola to store a budget for an item or a customer. So in our sales and marketing module, we have provided a budgeting module that allows you, if you look right here, this is by customer. I'm showing 3 tabs. A budget by customer, 1 by sales rep. And then what I do is I have 12 periods of sales as well as 12 periods of margin. And if you don't have a budget, what this can do is this can bring in historical data from which you can adjust it. I just have these at 0 right now, but you can key in information or you can bring it in from historical. If you do have your budget already in Excel, then we can import that budget. But again, this is giving you the capability for the very first time to be able to store a budget and maintain a budget for anything beyond the general ledger. So in my particular case here, what I'm looking at is our sales by customer, year-to-date invoiced versus the prior year, year-to-date invoiced. On this next one, what I'm doing is I'm looking at month-to-date by product category. And maybe I mentioned this before. You can click on any of these fields to sort this down. So I'm going to sort this down by month-to-date descending. So this is month-to-date invoiced dollars versus the prior year, the same month, month-to-date, versus year-to-date invoiced, the prior year invoiced. And you may be wondering, well, how do I create these? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to go into our column chooser, and you're going to notice that we have created hundreds of formulas that are unique to Pulse to allow you to look at information on a month-to-date, quarter-to-date, year-to-date, prior quarter, so on and so on and so on. So this is how I'm using my column chooser to do that. Some of you may have noticed this field called Save and Share. What this means is, let's say that I come up with a unique way of looking at our sales, and rather than each person having to set it up separately, what I can do is I can share my screen with everybody else in the company. So with our sales and marketing module, I just have 2 screens, but you can have an unlimited number of sales screens. Okay. Well, things keep getting better. This is our inventory management module. I am an expert on inventory turns, and hopefully a lot of you are on the journey of trying to increase inventory turns. It's a never-ending journey, and originally we had developed the measuring of inventory turns using Crystal, and we decided to move that over into Pulse. So what we're doing here is, I should mention that each night all of this information that we've seen so far is real time, with the exception of inventory turns. There is a program that runs every night. It takes 5 minutes to run, and it calculates by item number, by location, inventory usage, inventory turns for the past 24 months, and that's where this information is coming from. So in my particular case, I want to track inventory turns by purchased items. I also have a need to look at inventory turns for my packaging material. So I'm able to create, this is a concept where I can create different filters, and I can then go back and forth based on those filters. So I'm going to go back to our purchased items again. We have a stock status report that is a bit unique in that I can choose how I want to look at this. I'm now looking at the stock status by location, but let's say that I wanted to look at the stock status by category. So I'm going to type in CAT. It's going to bring up the product category. I'm going to eliminate the item location, and now I'm able to look at my products, my inventory by product category. We have several customers who are whose parent company is based in Europe, and in Europe, inventory aging is very, very popular. Not to be confused with having too much inventory. This is saying that in this particular case, I have almost $700,000 of inventory that has had no usage. It has not been touched in over 48 months. So this is truly obsolete inventory, and this screen is very popular. We have inventory exceptions, inventory items with no cost, inventory items with a negative on hand. And you're seeing here that we have our date of last count, date of last activity, date of last manufacturing. You're starting to see fields. There are no fields in Macola called date of last manufacture, date of last purchase, date of last sale, date of last activity. So these are things that we've created in Pulse. You can also look at excess inventory with this. So this is the inventory, the main screen on the inventory module. What I can also do is in our custom tabs, this is the summary, but I have a new product line that I'm importing from China, and it's called Imported Products. And what I want to do is I want to be able to look at, I took this screen, I took all of these graphs and charts, and I copied and pasted them into a tab, which now is just for imported products. So you can see how the data is different between the two. So you could do the same thing. You could take your certain product lines, your warehouses, and so on. This is something that we have that's unique. There's two screens here. People want to be able to bring their inventory into something that looks like Excel and massage it. So in my particular case, I'm wanting to look at excess inventory. So I brought in months of inventory on hand, and I'm going to sort this by months of inventory on hand. I brought in all of my inventory, and I'm able to see, in other words, I have 3,766 months of inventory, a bit too much maybe, on hand for these particular parts. So the blue information is information that's coming real time out of Macola. The cream color is coming out of Pulse. In other words, Macola does not have months of inventory on hand, date of last usage, and so on. So this screen right here is extremely helpful if you are on the journey of trying to get rid of excess inventory, monitor your inventory better, and so on.
Quick question, Mike.
Sure.
You indicated that that you purchased by module. However, from the executive tab, you drilled down into inventory. Would someone need to purchase the inventory module to view inventory data?
Yes, they would. In this newest version of Pulse, we are able to mix and match. In other words, I can take this screen and I can put it on the front page if I want to, but you do have to be licensed for those individual modules. So once you're licensed for a module, you can create your own screen, mix and match, copy and paste screens from any place to any place. So yes, you would have to be licensed for that. Thank you. All of you are probably aware of or use the multiple level item view program. Well, that's nice, but the multiple level item view program was developed about 15 years ago. And what our customers are telling us is they want to be able to look at inventory in a grid format like Excel, and they want to be able to look at the inventory over time. So what we've done here is this is the beginning of rewriting the multiple level item view. In other words, what I'm looking at is on-hand inventory for the past 12 months, receipts by month for the past 12 months, usage by month, transfers and inventory turns month by month. So the information that's in this manila color, that's information that Pulse is calculating. I mentioned before we have this program that runs unattended in the middle of the night, and it calculates all this information item by item, location by location for the past 24 months. And that's where this is coming from. So we can see here for this part, we can see date of last usage, date of last purchase, 12 months usage. Macola has year-to-date usage, but it doesn't have usage for the past 365 days. We're looking at our 12-month inventory turns, and we're looking at months of inventory on hand. And then you can also drill down and then see all the underlying detailed transactions based on a date range. So this is very, very powerful. This has become extremely popular.